Blech. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Have you ever heard this expression? My dad used to say, too many Indians, not, or too many chiefs, not enough Indians. In Egypt, they said 2 captains and the ship will sink. That's pretty dire, right? This is an idiom and an expression that's been around obviously for thousands of years, but for sure for hundreds of years, when in 1575, George Cappy or something, whatever his name was, wrote it in a book called The Life of Pea-Care. I don't know what Pea-Care is. It was, of course, summarized on Google, meaning I have no idea what it meant, but it's been around since at least 1575 in writing, and much longer than that. Obviously, if it was back in Egypt and back in the times of other peoples, I guess. So what does it mean? I guess my nearest and closest experience with this has been working for 2 bosses in corporate America. One of my jobs, I reported to 2 different bosses in 2 different departments, 2 different divisions of the organization. One was in operations and one was in quality. And it wouldn't seem like a big deal, but whenever you have 2 people giving you direction and they're of equal, I guess, level in the organization, it's confusing. And I finally, after about a week of being super frustrated because I was getting 2 sets of instructions that had me going in opposite directions, and I felt literally like I was running around with a chicken, like with my head cut off. I was trying to do way too much, at least as much as 2 people, probably 3 or 4, because I was getting so much conflicting information. Finally sat us all 3 down in the same room and said, okay, here's the deal. There's 8 to 10 hours in my day. How are we going to split up? How do I decide, when you guys both give me directions, what is the most important thing for me to do? And I think they were shocked and surprised that I had actually had the audacity to call a meeting together where I wanted clear expectations from all of us. But work was a lot more fun and it went a lot more smoothly after that. Ended up primarily reporting to the director of quality then, which again made life more simple and easier. Did I help out and do projects in operations? Absolutely. But it was a lot better for me. I think it was probably a month or 2 where we decided, hey, I'm just going to report to the head of quality instead of quality and operations. So that was my entree into the quality field, and I spent the next 20 plus years in that particular field, that particular level or area of study and application in corporate America. So my corporate career was primarily spent in the function of quality, which to me means I could stick my nose in everybody's business, because quality is everybody's job, and it takes everyone in the organization to create the proper end result for the customer. So I actually loved working in quality. Didn't do much engineering after that, but I did enjoy that. So how do we use this too many cooks spoil the broth to build and grow our business? Well, we make sure, number 1, that we have clear goals and clear expectations for people. We make sure people aren't reporting to 2 different bosses, that there is a straight line of understanding and expectations. And that is an example of expectations have to be shared up in your organization as well as down. Everything doesn't just flow downhill. I know there's an idiom and an expression about that, but it's not true. Things can flow uphill as well. Communication has to flow uphill, right? So that the people above us in the organization have the information that they need to make the best decisions possible. And that goes for every level of the organization, every type of organization. So you want to make sure clear goals, clear expectations, keep team sizes small. We could do a whole week long, 10 hours a day discussion about team management, team leadership, how to have awesome functional creative teams. But today we're just talking about the idiom, too many team members or too many bosses, not enough team members. That's another one that I've definitely used that in my corporate life as well as in my business life. Explain to people that at some point, if everybody's responsible, nobody's responsible. And that's why we always break tasks down and we have an accountable individual. Everybody says, yes, I'm gonna commit to doing this and making sure it gets done. Maybe I don't know all the hows about it. I might need some of your help to get it done, but I will commit, I will own this. It's my responsibility. And until you have actual clear communication like that in your organizations, you tend to have chaos, or all of the decision making has to go to 1 or 2 people, which is really a nightmare, because what happens when you have 1 or 2 people that have to filter all the decisions through them? It's called a bottleneck. Not a good thing for running our businesses and growing our businesses smoothly. So too many cooks spoil the broth. Love to know your experience with this particular idiom or example. Have you been on teams where they had more than one team leader? And how effective was that team? Have you been in organizations or clubs where everybody wants to be the boss or the chairman of the board, and the organization really falls flat and really never accomplishes its mission or gets what it wants to get done because everybody wants to go in different directions? That's what usually happens. That's it. Have an amazing day. I'll be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how can you use it in your business right now? Have an awesome day. Bye. See you tomorrow.